Hi, my name is Alexa Benton, and today I will be discussing prison reform inside of our United States prison system. So, have you ever thought about what goes on inside of our prison system, or even if the system is beneficial to the inmates? So, today I will be informing my classmates about the United States prison system and how prison reform can have a positive effect on society if it is put into good use. The overall topics I will be covering today is a major change that is needed in the prison systems, as long as benefits that will come along with rehabilitation, and also I will be discussing how to prepare inmates to re-enter society. With that being said, the first topic I'll be discussing is a major change that is needed in the prison system that is a part of prison reform in the United States. And for this topic, I have chosen to narrow it down to one very important and necessary change that is needed. So that change is to reduce the use of solitary confinement. And I wanted to begin by giving a definition of solitary confinement. And Jane Leonard states that solitary confinement involves physical isolation, meaning that a person has minimal interaction with other people. And this can be very heartwarming to many because imagine if you were in this person's situation when you are isolated from everyone and anything other than yourself in a little tiny brick or just isolated room. And Jane also goes on to state that solitary confinement causes adverse psychological effects and increases the risk of serious harm to individuals who experience it, and also that many individuals who experience confinement become incapable of living around other people. These are very serious things that no one would want to do or be involved in. Next, I will be talking about the benefits of rehabilitation. So, the authors Dahl and Mogstad state that imprisonment increases participation in programs directed at improving employability and reducing recidivism, and this ultimately raises employment and earnings while discouraging criminal behavior. Um, the author Tabitha Paraguay goes on to state that rehabilitation programs reduce recidivism if they incorporate proven principles and target specific individuals who have committed a crime. So, this kind of shows how if rehabilitation programs such as educational courses, vocational training, work programs, and opportunities for spiritual growth, if those type of programs were built into the prison systems, it would actually benefit the prisoners. And this is, like again, I said, it could reduce recidivism. And recidivism is if, say you're arrested and then you get out, but then you start doing the same thing and you get back in prison. So it's pretty much reducing people's chances of going back to prison once they are already released. And this is very important because a lot of people, when they get out of prison, um, they didn't get the help they needed and don't know how to live any other life, so they end up going back there because that's the only life they're used to. Lastly, I will be talking about how to prepare inmates to re-enter society. This kind of goes along with what I was just mentioning in the last point. And so, this is a process that should take place prior to the release of an inmate, but like I already said, it is very difficult to find somebody who actually got the help they needed while in prison, which is why prison reform is very beneficial and should be part of this process. So, from the article, How to Integrate Back into Society After Serving Time, they state that having a solid group of mentors is essential for a positive release. And this is one of the examples I gave to how to prepare inmates to re-enter society, because if you have a good group of people who are supporting you and helping you get through your time in prison, you can learn how to actually be successful once getting out. That leads me to my next point for this topic, which is to allow inmates quality time with loved ones. This kind of goes back to the solitary confinement time that I was talking about earlier, because when you're in solitary confinement, you are isolated from everyone, even your family, and you can't have a relationship with these people if you're locked up by yourself with only your thoughts. And from the same article, How to Integrate Back into Society After Serving Time, they state that rebuilding and repairing relationships with family and friends can be the aspect that keeps someone from recidivism. So that's very important to think about. And lastly, if you give inmates the help they need. From the same article, How to Integrate Back into Society After Serving Time, it is stated that if you locate helpful resources before and after release, it also helps with the recidivism rates. And this could be very, very beneficial to an inmate if prison reform was actually built into our prison system, so that these people could learn that even though they went to prison, it doesn't have to be their whole life from now on. So, in conclusion, it is definitely time for our prison systems to make changes. From the article Why Prison Reform Matters, they state that something must change if we are to achieve an effective justice system that protects and enhances public safety while respecting human dignity. And I believe that is a very firm statement that needs to be taken to heart. So, making changes, pointing out the benefits of rehabilitation, and creating ways to better inmates for their release are all necessary steps that need to be taken in order for our prison reform to benefit society as well as the inmates that are in the prison system. And that is all that I have today. Thank you for watching.